Toledo? It's your girl, DebraSue, in the studio of Glass City Talent with Toledo to the World. Happy to have you join me today. If you're not in right now, I know most of you will be tuning in at some time. I want to welcome everybody from Toledo, anybody from Ohio, and everybody who views in from the rest of the world. I want to welcome all my viewers on the Roku channel as well. Thank you for tuning in. And listen, we got a really good show for you all today. We have a great show for you today. As mentioned before, this is Toledo to the World, and I'm DebraSue, and we're welcoming special guest MARKEITH Johnson.
I'm the former host of Black TV and a whole bunch of different other entities. We did Fertile Grounds, which was a podcast back maybe 10 years ago before podcasts became super duper relevant. And I like to tell a lot of people that I was doing content before content was cool. Now everybody wants to be a content creator and they list that under their bio as far as what they do. But now people see, you know, what it was that I was trying to do so many years ago as far as helping people build their brand and showing the importance of being consistent and building your brand and knowing what it is that you stand on as a brand, you know. So that's kind of the background story a little bit.
So since you said that, let's talk about how far you go back then, sir. Let's talk about when did you first get into marketing yourself as well, now they call them creators, but you were a creator back in the day, if you will, because this is something that you've been doing. How long ago are we talking about?
Well, you know what? I would have to say I'd say 2000. When I came back to, well, really, actually, it would have to be before 2000. It would be like maybe 94. Because I was in Columbus, and Columbus had what they call a public access TV station where you could rent the cameras out and go out and shoot different stuff. So just being a person who worked in a TV production environment, I'd get the cameras, set the stuff up in the basement. We had studio equipment in the basement, not just what record the rappers doing their thing, you know, in the basement. Then I'd take those tapes, edit that, and take it over to the public access TV station. It was called Big Black's Underground Connect in Columbus, Ohio, back in the day.
Okay. So when did you bring your talents to Toledo then?
I'm originally from Toledo. I graduated from Libby in 1987. My senior year at Libby, I went to work as an intern at Channel 13 and learned production there. You know, learned how to create and how to be consistent, how to build brands, how to engage with the audience. You know, if you're at 13, you got to know how to cook for the community. So I kind of learned and cut my teeth as far as doing stuff for Toledo, you know, in that environment. And then once I graduated, I worked briefly at 13 as a floor director doing morning news. So morning news just is a fast-paced environment, and you got to be good on a consistent basis. So that's why I try to tell a lot of artists and a lot of content creators, it's okay to be good at doing video and producing video, but you want to be good every day. You know, you want to produce content every day, and you want it to be good on a regular basis. So those are the environments that I came up out of, and it kind of shaped how I do things, you know, as far as producing video and building brands. I came back in 2000, though, and that's when we got Black TV started.
I got you. Any chance that you'll revive that Black TV?
You know what? Because the format, we in the process now of a format shift. Before Black TV was on the DVD, and we did a lot of hand-to-hand sales. We put it in the mom and pop shops because they were still selling CDs at the time. Now everything is online and you know, distributed through the internet. So we've been playing with some different formats and, you know, messing around, doing some different stuff. So I'm thinking about either revising the brand, re-releasing some of the old stuff and updating it with some new stuff, along with now, you know, helping the newer generation, you know, develop some platforms of their own and, you know, really begin that process of trying to build more brands up under one umbrella, you know, to see what I can do in that arena as far as different things, style, fashion, hair, you know, just the culture in general.
Okay. So from 2000 till now, okay, let's talk
Mhm.
about what you are doing with regard to the industry, because I think you are headed more so right now toward artist consultation, if you will. Let's talk about that.
I've just from my time of not being in front of the camera and producing a lot of content, I've always watched and I'm still watching a lot of different artists. So I see artists with talent and I see business owners that got a great story. And I see different people who are content creators online that have presence and have the ability to take their thing to the next level. The thing that I would, and I'm trying to teach this next generation is sustainability, to build those things into your brand when you're creating content that make your ability to do what it is that you want to do, which is build your channel, build your platform sustainable, which means you got to do more than just entertain. You got to create offers. You got to turn people who are fans into customers if you're a music artist. Because if you got 10,000, 20,000 streams a month, that means you have music that's readily consumable. But if you don't have those other things that are going on within your business and within your brand that's going to create revenue, you can't make it off of that streaming money. It's not paying enough.
Yeah, that's very, very good advice, especially for the new artists that are coming into themselves, if you will. How do you give that very same advice to an individual who's been in the music business for, 10, 15 years?
They got to learn how to adapt, because the thing about the music industry is that the music industry shifts every 10 to 15 years based on the technology that's actually supporting the music, because we went from CDs at one point to MP3s to streaming, and now we're currently at streaming. So if you're an artist that came up and you've been in the game for 15 years, you remember having some of your first projects on CD before MP3s became popular and then before streaming took over everything. So you had to make that adjustment and you had to adapt. But now that streaming is getting ready to kind of play out, it's each individual artist that needs to create an environment. I call it an immersive environment where your fans, where you got normal people who listen to your music, they can listen from the streaming service. But what you really want to do is you want to create an immersive environment where those super fans, where people who don't mind buying a t-shirt, who don't mind paying $5 or $10 for a stream of a live concert that you're going to do. Because when we're talking off camera about, some of the different venues and wanting to give the artist exposure, but not being able to maybe trust security or, inviting people from different neighborhoods and how that might cause conflict. If you got a group of super fans that'll really support you and will watch a live stream, a great live stream, you can sell those tickets for $5 to $10 and let everybody sit at home and rip their hood from home. Right. Now, how violent you gonna get behind your keyboard? I mean, it might be some stuff in the chat, but that ain't nothing like people, inside the venue or out on the street trying to settle what happened in the venue out on the street. So we got to get creative as far as giving great performances, because it's one thing to be in the booth, Sue, but it's another thing as far as, especially when you talk about rap and being that MC or being that rapper and translating what it is that you did in that booth in front of a live audience. And that, I think that's a lot of times what's missing.
Yeah, exactly.
That MC or being that rapper and translating what it is that you did in that booth in front of a live audience. And that, I think that's a lot of times what's missing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like the idea of putting on live shows by streaming them. I like that idea because for my people who are outside of Toledo, I don't know how you all have your mandates that are set up in your city, but in our city, we have a 3-strike mandate for some of the clubs. And it seems to target certain clubs. I'm not gonna mislead anybody, but when you have an act of violence or shooting or whatnot, after a 3rd strike, they tend to shut those facilities down. So when we talked offline, that's one thing that we were talking about, is that artists, when you have music and if you do live performances at a facility, at a club, wherever you may have that hold that occasion, you have to really make an adjustment in your music. You must make it, especially if your music is veered towards street life. Okay, because chances are you have people from all sides of town that might be coming to that event, especially if it's a multi-artist event and several people are going to be on it and they're each representing their own hood. be very, very careful about how you represent that, and you don't cause a problem in the club, because now you're causing, you got security in there. They may have to have additional security on top of that. I mean, it's just a whole environment that nobody is very comfortable in. And so, so you're right. I do agree with you. I think artists need to be very, very careful. And if you're going to be professional, that's something that you should consider when you're cutting your music in the booth to begin with, because when you take your music to radio stations, the very first thing they ask you is, do you have an edited version?
Yeah,
Do you have
that's
an edit?
right.
Because when I was doing my taking artists in iHeart, my God, I was not going to spend 45 minutes trying to edit a song, and then take it in there to the engineer, and he still has to edit it. We've wasted so much time. So I always ask people, please bring your edited version. And so when you talk about performing in the booth, performing outside the booth, in a club, wherever it is, to promote your music, you usually will need in a club a DJ, right? Let's talk about the importance of the relationship between the DJs and the artists.
Well, I guess I really wanted to emphasize that this is a relationship that was formulated at the beginning of rap as we know it. The whole thing of being a rapper or being an MC was facilitated by the DJ, to bring somebody up from the crowd or bring somebody up from the neighborhood to help get the party going. That's the true nature of this whole thing of rap and this whole thing of being an MC, and actually how to master the ceremony and how to conduct a party, how to get the people on the dance floor. So a lot of that's been lost in translation as rap became more popular. And then you have artists that maybe didn't go by way of the club, and went by way of the studio and went in the studio and made hits. And which means that they may have hooked up with a producer and never hooked up with a DJ. So now you got these two people who really don't have that live party environment in a studio creating music that they want everybody else to consume. And at that point, they begin to overlook the DJs, and the DJs begin to overlook the artists.
So would you say that was the beginning of the rift between the DJs and the artists? Because I mentioned this off camera before. We had an actual in-service where we invited like 12, 13 DJs. We had a dinner, and then we talked about some of the issues that exist in particular between Toledo DJs and some of the artists. And one of the things that the DJs were saying is the lack of appreciation that the artists have for the DJs, and that entailed a whole lot of things, from saying, thank you at the shows, to recognizing the DJs at the shows, to, supporting them and giving them support as well, because our DJs also need that. Okay. What would you say outside of the lack of appreciation that these two entities have for each other? What would you say is the biggest reason that the DJs don't play music artists, rather it be in a club or on the radio or however it be? What do you feel is the biggest contributor to that?
The relationship's not there. Artists, like I said, they're spending way too much time in the studio, not spending enough time in the club, for one, listening to what the DJs are playing and look at what's getting those butts on the floor. You gotta, as an artist, you have to be conscious of what that DJ is playing, where he's earning his money, because at the end of the day, he could play a whole bunch of stuff that you and your buddies sitting in your car and listen to, and oh man, that's hot. But you could take that same song that y'all sitting in the car listening to and ask the DJ to play it and clear the dance floor. I've seen it happen a million times.
Yeah.
So who's wrong? You and your buddies in the car listening to it and that's hot? Or the DJ that now just gave your record a chance and it cleared the floor? You got to include the DJs in early in the process of you making the music. For one, starting with the beats. Pay a DJ $100 to sit there and listen to 10 tracks that you consider taking into the studio and see if sonically where you at is going to be able to get some people on the dance floor. And bring in a DJ to produce 1 or 2 songs for you. Because here's one of the things that most rappers will say about the hit records that they got, that they didn't necessarily like when that song was being produced by whatever producer. If it was a song for the dance floor, if it was a song for the women, the rappers were like, I really didn't like that song when when we was doing it. But I see now where they was going. Basically, they was trying to give me a hit, trying to give me something that would put people on the dance floor to be able to give the rest of my project a chance. You gotta have 1 or 2 songs for the club that are gonna be able to be an advocate for the rest of your music, where the rest of your music might be a little bit more artsy, might be a little bit more culture driven. You gotta
Yeah.
have them 1 or 2 songs for the club to get a DJ something to work with. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the artists is. I don't think they seeing that.
Mm-hmm. And you know something, I often tell artists through my management programs, my curriculum is look at the artists before you, the ones that you emulate. Let's talk about people like Tupac and Eminem. Okay, if you look at their biographies or if you look at their history, they always hit the club. They observed the audience. They saw what was popular in the audience, and when they performed, they gave the audience what they wanted. As you said, pulled the butts out of the seats and got them up to the stage. You know, pulled the butts out of the seat and got them up to dance or what have you. And then they kept that cycle going. They didn't just do 1 or 2 performances. They did more than that. So it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out a level of success. Now, the problem is, and I say this often, the problem is most artists do not understand the amount of finance that is involved with what you do, because obviously, you know, you're going to have a manager that's going to want you to go out of town. You got to do studio time, which costs money. You got to, you know, you got to invest in the fit that makes you look like who you say you are in your song. The finance, in my opinion, the money is what stops a lot of artists, from good artists, from becoming great artists. In particular in Toledo, because we have got some talent here that and I've done shows all over, trust me, and I would tell you we have got some outstanding talent here. The issue is, you know, where is your priority when it comes to investing in yourself? Let me hear your opinion on that.
Well, I think, and this is just because the content creators, the non-musical content creators, have shifted the way people consume content. It's difficult for an artist to be in the studio for 6 to 8 months working on 15, 16 songs and then drop the project, because you got artists that are platinum selling artists that now only get 2 to 3 weeks on a project. Just say DJ Mustard, who did the beat for Kendrick as far as They're Not Like Us. He just dropped his album, and I think he sold 8,000 the first week. YG came behind him, which is one of Mustard's core artists, and did only like 15,000 as far as music sales. So that if you see, like with Kendrick, They Not Like Us, because the content creators are such a part of the way people consume the music, with Mustard and YG not having stories connected to their release, not having music and content connected to what they're getting ready to drop, it fell flat. It fell flat. So a part of the process from now on, and I would have to say from now on until something else comes along, as an artist, when you're in there creating those 16, 17 songs, maybe 20 songs, and picking from those 20 to build an album, you got to be creating content. You got to record the part where you and the producer are arguing, you know, about how the song going to end and how it's going to come in, just so you can show people the passion that you're putting into the project while you're actually creating the project. You got to create interest for the project before the project is actually released, or you get what people getting now. And you know that, and I just was working on the Park Jam that was downtown at Promenade Park, that had some local artists, but then it had Sammy, Adina Howard, yeah, and Bobby Valentino.
Right.
And the local artists, of course, came and did their thing. But part of what it was that we were doing, we would, you know, kind of coming in to handle some of the marketing and promotion. And then I did a thing with the augmented reality where I put the graphics up on the building and some other stuff like that. So it's kind of experimental the way that we did it. But the one thing that I had difficulty with was getting information from the artists as far as their social media. Where was their online presence? Because this whole thing was going to be presented to the people who were actually in the venue to be able to take the artist's information away from the venue. It is a perfect opportunity for local artists to be able to connect right there with their core fan base and be able to take that information outside of the park, but to the people to take it back home with them. But I couldn't get the people to give me the information. It's 1 or 2 artists that had everything that I needed to be able to build a great profile for them. But to be an artist, and especially to be an artist that's been in the game over 5 years, there's no way in the world that you can't send me one link that has your Facebook, that has your Twitter, your X, or whatever you want to call it, your
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, even your LinkedIn, as far as you being a professional at what it is you do, your
Mm-hmm.
website,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever streaming services that your music is on. One link
Right. And you know
that
what?
covers all of that.
I constantly push that in artist development that your EPK is a part of who you are. It tells someone in 5 minutes exactly who you are and what you do. And if you've been in the artist, I honestly I would say 4 to 5 years and you don't have that, you don't have your complete package, you are not about your business. And
No,
I don't mean to
you
offend
still an
anybody
amateur.
when I say that.
No, you
That's
still
it.
actually
And that's not
at
to
amateur status.
that's right. And that's not to offend anybody, but that's just the truth. And if you don't know what an EPK is, look it up. And it'll tell
Right.
you what you need to have in your electronic press kit, okay?
And that's one of the things when you talk about having those links. But then when you said the EPK, that covers even more important part of that, which is your bio, which is your
Mm-hmm.
story of your career up until the point that you're at right now. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell people when you do a bio, as far as being an artist or being a producer, what you're looking for or what we're looking for in the media. We're looking to be able to tell your story to pique interest with whoever our core audience is without having to ask you a question. We should be
Absolutely.
able to take from
Mm-hmm.
your bio enough information along with whatever songs that you're promoting that's a part of that electronic press kit and build a whole entire story from
Mm-hmm.
that that'll get people listening to you and attract new fans that you haven't even heard of. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things also that I want to address really, really quick is
Uh-huh.
that Toledo, I can't really speak for other places, but Toledo has a bad habit of trying to depend on the core fan base to be people in their family and their friends. If you are a serious artist and you are here in Toledo, Ohio, do yourself and do your friends and your family a favor and let them go. Build your fan base out of complete consumers that are strangers that don't know you, because those people are going to give you a more accurate reading of where you are in your development as an artist than your
Mm-hmm.
friends and family. Your friends and
Mm-hmm.
family a lot of times don't want to hurt your feelings or don't want to tell you the whole exact truth when it comes to what it is that you're trying to do because you're so passionate about it.
Right.
Leave your friends
Exactly.
and family out of your artist development. Not saying that
Right.
they can't listen to your music or that you don't want them involved, but as far as developing yourself as an artist, let those
Mm-hmm.
people go. And don't look at those people for no likes. Don't look at those people for no shares. Don't look at those people for no support when you're trying to sell something. Those people there, if you don't make it, if they'll help
Right.
you out and say
Exactly.
you
And
keep
you know
trying.
what?
So
That is so important. That's so important in an artist development situation is, sometimes you have something and I'm gonna just say it outright, it'll suck. And it's not good. It's not radio worthy. It's not worthy, for a DJ to put in a show, but you have friends and family because they love you so much who would give you a different idea that's just a little bit misleading. Okay. But you have people in on the other side of the tracks, if you will, that say, hey, maybe you need to rework that, or how about you get back into the studio and maybe try it this way. So I totally agree with you on that. So now let me bring this back around to August 2024. Are you looking to manage artists locally, or are you just looking to because you guys did your thing downtown first? Let me say that right now, you did your thing at the Park Jam. Okay, kudos to that, another very successful event. But what about coming back to you, Black? What is it that you are trying to do to help artists in the city of Toledo and beyond?
I think I would be more effective on the artist development angle at this current time than actually managing. Because when you talk about management of an artist at this point, unless that artist is all the way polished up and ready to go and packaged up and looking like the rest of the industry, and I mean
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying even from the standpoint of looking better than the rest of the industry, there's so many things that I really want to do now as far as like the immersive technology, AR, VR, spatial audio, as far as the actual recording production process, the next level stuff. Because right now, if you look at it as far as streaming music service, that's the reason why they're not paying nobody that much money for the music, is because it's just a stereo track that somebody can do on their iPad now.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a good MacBook and get you an audio interface and make something that can potentially make millions of dollars. So the music industry knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, with the headsets, the Oculus, all of this stuff here, which I just got a hold of a VR headset, and then my nephew has the Apple Vision Pro upstairs. So we kind of trying to get everything ready for that next level, that immersive thing, people sitting in there and getting it from all angles. So I think I
Yeah.
would be better in the area of artist development and management right now, because if you've coming
Mm-hmm.
to me to develop you, I can do that the way I
Mm-hmm.
know I need to. But to manage
Mm-hmm.
you is now taking what it is that we've developed and pushing that out there to the public. So I don't think
Okay.
I haven't seen no artist that's ready for no management.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have. I've seen a
Shoot
couple. I'm
them
gonna be
through.
honest
Shoot
with
them
you.
through.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You had a couple of them that were on that show downtown, and I'm telling you that outstanding. To be honest with you, I would tell you that there's a female that was on that show, and in my opinion, that girl's industry ready. She's been industry ready, and so I'm hoping that you know who I'm talking about. But I
Oh
really
yeah.
do. Yeah, she's absolutely amazing, and I have seen her on stages from to Toledo to Detroit to in different places, and that young lady she's industry ready. And so I think I would love to see, and I talked to a couple other individuals, Indo being one of them, a couple other people. I would love to see a day when Toledo can get behind fantastic artists such as the one we just referenced and try to push these people into the limelight. And as we both know, that's very difficult to do right now because the game is changing. It is changing, and it is getting harder and harder to get these artists out in front of people, as you know. But
Well,
I agree with you. If we're going to do that, then they have to be ready, and they have to have they have to have their book in order. Their portfolio has to be complete.
I'm trying to put together a workshop. I don't know if it'll be just maybe a 1 day thing. I know, artists and people, that want to develop themselves don't have a lot of time to devote to as a part that I think is really important. But I do want to do a workshop where we sit down and talk about some of these issues that we're dealing with right now, as far as artist development and where they need to be. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I'm passionate about, especially with the rappers as far as they go, I think every rapper should have a children's book, male or female. If you're that good of a writer, I believe you should have at least one children's book that you've authored yourself, because every rapper was once a kid.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
Uh-huh.
the thing of with rap being so competitive right now, you got to have another way to angle to get to your prospective customers, which a lot of times is females.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a female and this rapper has a children's book, and the children's book is, let's say, about, and I had a idea thing that I was throwing around with some different rappers. A lot of men, especially black men, kind of incarcerated. How do you
Mm-hmm.
write a children's book for kids that learn how to build a relationship with their dad, and their dad might be gone for a while? That's
Mm-hmm.
just one idea. But if you looking for a way to build your core audience as a rapper, write a children's book.
Hmm.
It's a great way to get
I look
introduced
forward.
to women.
I look forward to the day that happens. I'll be honest with you because it takes effort, and we have a lot of people who don't put effort. Obviously, since some of them it shows in their music, but for the serious artists, I would love to see that happen for sure. We are at our 6:32 hour. I do want to be honest with you, when you talked about that workshop, I said, let's put the workshop together. I'd like to be a part of that if you want to put that together. It was some years back that myself and two other individuals plus three DJs got together and we did something like that. And we did it at a
Okay.
local library and we had a lot of online presence.
I will say that the last workshop that I did was in 2016, and it was with Embrace, Julius Darrington. Let me see, the guy from UGE, Michael Hayes, and we had a great turnout, and the audience came in and did their thing and got a lot of great information. Shout out to Julius Darrington and the team he got out there in California now. He's a local guy here from Toledo, but he got Mantra that he's doing out there, music producing and publishing, working with great artists. You know, I think he's on LL's new project.
Okay.
So shout out to Julius Darrington and his cousin Tubbs out there, both Toledo natives doing their thing out there on the West Coast. And one of the things that people that definitely need to be tighter on is that you're asking to be in the entertainment industry. You're asking people to take their attention away from whatever it is that they were doing at that moment that you gave them a link or that you put a post up, and you're asking them to divert that attention away from that to you. So you gotta be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
I
gotta be
agree.
entertaining.
You got to be entertaining, and it has to be an entertainment that appeals to not just a few, but more than just a few people. So,
The
one of my
widest
friends in
base
the
as
entertainment,
possible.
yeah, one of my friends in the industry said, you have a lot of people that's Toledo famous, but how about coming out here and showing the rest of the world what you're about? And so, and
Yeah.
I tell people that too. You have to, when we left Toledo and went down to New York or out to Memphis or or to Vegas and perform, you see all the different performances, you really realize that you're mediocre compared to a whole lot of these people out here, to be honest with you. Some are great and some are not, but it takes getting out of your comfort zone to understand that there's other talent out there as well, that maybe you need to raise your bar up just a little bit.
And I'll say it like this too. One of the reasons why, to go back to the point I was making about friends and family, as far as part of your support system, is your friends and family can be highly biased as far as your level of entertainment and how good you are at what it is you're doing. Unless you Joe Jackson and you working with early Michael and Tito and Jermaine, you know. And even with Joe, I had the blessing to be able to interview Joe Jackson when he came to Toledo. And what you find and what you have to understand is that you may have those family members that bring greatness out of. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of artist development, is to take you from somebody who has natural raw talent to an end finished product that can be consumed by a wide base of people that don't know you from Adam. Because
Right.
all you got, and DJ Lightning Rod taught me that, but you got about 15 seconds at the beginning of that song to do something. I'll tell you one thing too that was an inside cheat code. The majority of songs that I had that was most successful on my DVDs came from the DJs. The DJs called me and pull up on me. Let me pull up on you. I got something hot. Rob was good for that. He get the music from the artists in the street. He gonna listen to everything at least once. But he would get the music, and the next thing he knew was, okay, I'm gonna play it in the club. But by the same token, the streets need to be able to actually hear this music too. So he pulled up on me. We listening. I like, which one you like? Particularly was Ray Stone's, wasn't his full album. It wasn't out, but it was his EP. I think it was like 5 to 6 songs on it. And out of those 5 to 6 songs, 3 of them was bangers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And of course, we went with the first one was You Dig, that had Philly from the Hill on it. And with Rob playing it in the club and then me doing the marketing and promotion on the streets, radio was easy. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, is that if you got a song that's got legs in the street, that means it's gonna have legs in the club. And if it got legs in the club, radio is a no-brainer.
Yeah, radio is the easy part if it's easy in the club. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, my friend? We are at 6. We're at the 6:39 hour. So I want to have you give your shout outs right now and where people can find you and communicate with you.
Oh, okay. Well, right now you can catch me on Facebook. My name is MARKEITH Johnson. I got Black TV on X. and it's Urban Images on Instagram, and that's pretty much the three that I got going now. All of my old footage and stuff like that is on Urban Images on YouTube, like all of the old music videos, some of the interviews from back in the day. I got some stuff on Vimeo that if you search Black TV on Vimeo, they can see some of the old stuff. And I'm really looking to be able to work with some of the newer artists. So let me announce on this right here. Throughout the month of September, I'll shoot your music video and put some interview stuff together for you and do it right. 500. And tell if only if you tell them DebraSue sent you. $500 to any of the local artists. Because I want to shoot
man, I appreciate
visualizers.
that. I do appreciate that. I appreciate that, MARKEITH. I really do. Well, I am really looking for great things out of you. I'm glad to have you back on the scene, sir. I'm definitely glad to have you back, and I'm definitely looking forward to working with you. We had a
Thank
few
you.
technical difficulties here, and for some reason, I'm getting a little bit of lag, like I said earlier today. I'll take care of that though. So, but thank you for joining me. And listen, people, I definitely want to encourage that you get in contact with him, because this is a man that knows the deal. He's been here, he's done this, and he's going to do it again. Okay. So if you're looking to tighten your game, if you are looking to figure, instead of going through management necessarily, just get through artist development first and then maybe look at management down the road. If you need to tighten up your game, make sure you reach out to Black, because he is the one that's going to help you make he's going to make a difference in what you're doing right now. He will. I can guarantee you that. Okay. So we're going to wrap this show up, sir. Okay. I want to thank everybody who joined us and who stayed with us, because we did have some tough technical difficulties and a little bit of sound situation, but that's to be expected. This is what happens when you do live TV. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Got to get
make
it
sure
in.
there you go. You all make sure you tune in to, you can find me at DebraSue, obviously, in Toledo to the World, also on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also go to YouTube and find me at Glass City Toledo to the World as well. We are also now playing on Roku. We just got picked up there. So very happy to make that announcement as well. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Make sure you get back with us again next Thursday. We will be on Thursday, our regularly programmed time, next Thursday at 6:00. For another discussion promoting Toledo to the World. Thank you all for joining us so much, and we're going to see you all then. Thank you again, MARKEITH. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a great holiday, and then
Bye-bye.
Toledo stay safe.
You too now. Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.